Hey yo everyone, how's everyone doing today? I am doing great, and I hope everyone's having a good weekend, a good week, and we'll have a good weekend. Um, I am very excited to see how the first video is doing on the Leonardo. Um, I feel like I talked way too long in that video, but I was just super excited because these are just amazing figures, and I'm just ecstatic about it. But what I was gonna do originally was I was gonna do each video or every upload I'll do is gonna be a new figure, but I realized that it's just gonna wait or take too long by the end of the by the end of the last figure, which would be Michelangelo. So I figured, you know what? I'll just do 3 videos. First video will be Leonardo. The second video will be Donatello and Raphael, and the last video will be Michelangelo. Just so that it doesn't span for too long, because I didn't realize it was gonna be like what it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 weeks until we get this last figure. So this last review. By the time that'll happen, it'll be probably Christmas. So I know everyone's trying to make a decision before Christmas, and if I was hoping if everyone had made a decision on the Leonardo, it is going to be a great Christmas gift if anyone is into Ninja Turtles or even small scale figures. I mean, this is such a great scale that I consider them pocket figures. But that aside, I will be reviewing these two, and we'll go from here. And I'll catch you in the flippity flip. All right, so we have the goods. And in traditional fashion, we'll do kind of a quick view on what we have in the plastic. So I'll do Donatello first since he was second. Sorry about that. So try not to drop anything. Okay, I think it's probably as good as we can get. Just like Leonardo, we have his weapon, his skateboard, his weapon with the effects, his pizza, his little machine that is actually on the opposite side. Now that I realize, what is that down there? Oh, right. Okay, I see in the back. It's a little wrench, so that comes with it. I thought I lost something. We have the figure, this piece here. Okay, so I opened this already, and when I tried to put it back in the plastic itself, it just wasn't going back. This here, I believe, from what I remember, goes with the figure. Or it comes with it on already. So if mine looks a little bit different than yours, don't worry. That's just how I just decided to take mine off. We have his pairs of hands here, his open palm hands. I'm sure one of these 2 pairs of hands are his holding weapon hands. He already has his pair of fist hands, and his other accessory holding hand. This here comes with the sewer grate on top and that little special stand that I mentioned before with Leonardo. So, like I said with Leonardo before, you can already see the purple with the skateboard, and it just makes it unique for this character. And I think it's a neat little touch for the turtles. We'll put Donatello to the side. And we'll bring out Raphael. Okay, try to see if I can get him centered. Alrighty, so we have the figure. We have his pizza there, his little telecommunicator, his size. I believe that's what they call their size. His size with the wind effect, dashing effect. His skateboard, the sewer grate thing, or the sewer grate stand, and his other turtle stand. We have his fists, just like any other. These fists, honestly, from the looks of it, they all seem to be compatible with the other figures. So, say for example, for Leonardo, his accessories, you lose one of his hands, you can easily replace it with another hand that wow, now that I realize it, this figure comes with 2 pairs of hands, or the same pair of hands. That is very interesting. Okay. Like I said, if I wanted to, I can definitely put this with, or grab another pair of these from another character and put them together. I didn't realize that. Wow. Okay. Um, you know, hiccups happen. I'm not going to totally hold it against JoyToy. I mean, like I said, their quality is really good, but things like this happen. I'm not going to be, you know, I got the entire set or entire characters. No biggie here. And lastly, you have the figure, if I haven't already mentioned it. They are looking super, super good, and I am super excited to take these out. So I will catch y'all in a bit. All right, so we are back. And let me say, I've collect some JoyToy figures. Man, do I forget, or do I always forget that putting in the hands are kind of a hassle. So that's my only complaint about these figures. JoyToy has some really nice materials that they use for the figures, but I've noticed that when you get them out fresh out the box, the hole for the hand is pretty small compared to the ball joint itself. So you kind of have to, you know, mess with it, kind of, you know, twist it, not to the point where you're twisting the actual joint itself, but trying to widen up and soften up the hole, the ball joint hole, and kind of soften that up with the, you know, friction that you're putting in. But it doesn't take too long to kind of, you know, get it in there, but it does take some time. But after you do, man, oh man, let me tell you, these are crazy good. So we'll start with Donatello. Put him to the side. Alrighty, so right off the bat, his one thing that I have noticed about with his bandana is when you move his head, this bandana touches his shell and other parts of, you know, the little medic bag over here. It kind of halts his head movement. So if you mess with it, it'll get caught by something. I've noticed that if I angle it just right, it'll get caught under his what's it called? Oh my gosh, the strap itself. But other than that, it's not, like, you know, a huge complaint, but it does get, you know, kind of annoying when you're trying to mess with his head. But just like Leonardo, actually, you know, same body, just different parts of him have been changed. Just like, so let me get his bow staff out without messing with the camera. Alrighty, so, and I'll take this off too. Oh my dear, give me 1 second. Okay, so if I keep hitting the camera, oh my gosh. Just like Leonardo, I believe, yeah, they all have the same crack on their right breastplate, and same thing with their lower torso. They pretty much the exact same mold. Everything is the same except the heads, the color of their shoulder pads, knee pads, the shape. Because I believe this is just a laser print. Yeah, this. Well, actually, no, all of them are going to be different. Their waist. What's it called? This little piece, because it's independent, doesn't move with anything else. It just kind of sits there. But like any other accessory, it's gonna be different. But everything else in terms of the body, knee pads, and the elbow pads, are practically the same. With Donatello, he has his little just like Leonardo, he has his little place where he can put his katanas. He has a place where he can put his bow staff, which I didn't show anyone how that worked, but works just like, I went too fast. Okay, it works just like that. And this is just, you know, it just would look so cool when you have them all, you know, posing next to each other, just kind of in a vanilla stance. But in this one, I don't think, once I start displaying these, they won't be in a vanilla stance. They'll be in a kind of an attacking mode. But we'll do kind of a even closer look. So his head sits on a ball joint, a dumb ball joint. Shoulders, they don't have butterfly joints, but you really don't need it when you start messing with this figure. It moves just as good, although because he messes with the bowl staff, I've noticed that he doesn't get as much range as he should with such weapon. So I do wish they gave all the turtles a little bit more range. Now that I realize it, because I mentioned it in the Leonardo, a little bit more range on the shoulder. So kind of, maybe a little bit of a butterfly joint, but even then, I think if they added a dumbbell joint on the shoulder, that would have been a really nice. I think it would have been the cherry on top. But he has a single jointed elbows, dumbbell jointed wrists, sits on a ball jointed upper torso, ball jointed lower torso, legs. The hips sit on a T joint. And those legs have hip swivel or thigh swivel, double jointed knees if you ever need to, and have a swivel on the ankles and a hinge joint as well. So this is Donatello. Honestly, my favorite part of Donatello would probably be his just something about these the back. Each of them are so unique. There's just something about it. I love it. As well as his thigh part right here. This does move. So if you want to take off the leg, if you want to take this out and make them all look nice and clean. Unfortunately, I do wish these were independent, but they seem to be glued on. Not usual compared to their other Warhammer figures, but maybe it's just so small they don't want to risk losing them. Who knows? So that's Donatello. Super cool. And yeah, all of them have these washes that I think is so nice. It really brings out the detail in these figures, which I think, like I said in the Leonardo, it is a very nice touch. They're all green, and it just gets lost within within the muscles, and like even this back right here, the side of his thigh has a little bit of a wash, and you can just really pops out the definition of the muscle there. So I'm super glad that they all have that. So I'll put him to the side. I don't want to make this video too long. Make sure it doesn't fall over. Oop, falls over by already. Alrighty. So moving on to Raphael. So I know he's a fan favorite. Yeah, he's more favorited than I believe Leonardo, which in my opinion, it's well granted. I mean, Raphael is kind of not the knucklehead, but kind of the hard-headed, stubborn, always wants to be a hero. But I like his iterations throughout the each Ninja Turtle series, where he's very brash and stubborn, hard-headed, but then eventually he grows to be a little bit more, not humble in a sense, but more when he needs to be angry, that's when he needs to be angry. He doesn't need to be angry all the time, which I think I learned from I believe, oh my gosh, the 2010 series when the movie came out. I think that was a really nice, really good movie. But that aside, we're here for Raphael. So straight off the bat, the first thing I notice is I believe they're called kunais, or if not ninja knives. I feel like the ninja knives is definitely not the correct terminology, but I think kunais are the correct term. He has a size here. Their size, actually, putting on the size are not that hard. So I actually put on the wrong hands before, and I was wondering why they were just so tight. I just checked again, and turns out that I had the wrong hands. These hands are a little bit more wider, so they get a little bit more of a grab on them. I don't even think I have them on all the way, but I think that's as far as this one goes. yeah, I mean, they're super pointy, so please do watch out. You don't want to step on this and then it'll be another Lego situation. So the main key differences with this figure is really the back, the shell, and his little accessories there. Like I said, everything else is exactly the same. Knee pads, arms, legs, everything is exactly the same. And I think it's really nice when companies do that. For the most part, you know, some companies do, but for the most part they don't. They just adds a little bit more, how would I say it, messing around with. I think that I'm super glad that if it is unfortunate though that if you do have one figure, you using another figure's accessory won't work. I think it's something that is, you know, it's kind of, you know, bound to happen. But if you have the entire set, I mean, this is, you know, really all you can ask for. So, but besides that, yeah, he has, you know, the dumbbell head or the dumbbell neck joint, hinged shoulders, hinged elbows, double jointed knees, thigh swivel, hinge and ankle swivel, and yeah, and dumbbell wrists. His size, actually, I've noticed they don't properly fit on their sheaths. So we'll take a quick look on how they look. So you put it this way, and you put it this way. So see, this one goes pretty good, but this one right here, I wish that this one came a little bit more angled. So let's see, maybe I need a, yeah, it just doesn't come out right. So I'm not gonna force it in because I don't want to damage the size. And this might not even happen to yours. Yours might be perfectly fine. It's just, unfortunately, mine doesn't come out the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, let me see if I can. Yeah, it's such an awkward fit that if I put it in, it's gonna be hitting this thigh piece right here. So we'll just keep them with it on. Okay, so really trying to remember how I had in my last video. I will show you again the accessories that he comes with, but they're honestly practically the same as the Leonardo. All of them are the exact same besides the weapons. You know what? I will bring out one of the accessories for each figure because I didn't do that for Leonardo and I really wish I did. So I'll be right back. Alright, so this is what I wanted to show y'all. This is just so many things, or so many possibilities can happen with. I'm so glad that they gave us these alternate weapons effects. Most companies won't even do that. They'll just give you a weapon and that's it. But this here is just adds so much more to the setting of the figure. With the Donatello, it's all one piece. So what I'm assuming what they did here is, yeah, like even these little, there's just dead space right here, which is all one piece. They painted this here purple. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Like, that's just one continuous piece. And this just gives the effect that it's just turning super quick, that it's just one big blur. One motion blur is what I believe the correct thing to say. And this here gives the effect that it's just swinging right at you. This, it's so cool. I'm glad they didn't do a kind of a sweep, more kind of like a quick jab effect. Yeah, I mean, it's just so nice. Just like the other one, this is all one color. They just painted it. They painted gunmetal and then the red and yellow. They did the exact same thing with the katanas for Leonardo. So yeah, they one translucent color and then they painted over. That's why you get a little bit of a different coloration with the regular weapons compared to the effect weapons. So yeah, I'll I'll pose these with the other figures, so kind of do like a kind of get my thumbnail ready. But yeah, let me get everything ready and then give my final thoughts. I'll be right back. Alrighty, let me make sure everything is centered as accordingly. Okay, so in conclusion, these figures are a must-have. Just like what I said about Leonardo, they're all so unique that it's just you have to have them all. It's almost like Pokemon. they're so fun to play with. I'm loving more the 1/18th scale figures. There's just something about the scale of it that is not only unique, but it's just how far manufacturers, how far company or toy companies can push the limits with the scale. And there's some crazy companies out there that really do really good with 1/6 scale figures, and they can get a lot of detail in there. But there's other companies that when you go smaller, they can really knock it out the park. And I think, and I want to say JoyToy delivers that. My only gripes really would be maybe Donatello's and bandana could be a little bit or positioned upwards, not downwards, because it does get in, it does conflict with the satchel that he has for the medic satchel. And for Raphael, would have to be where his sheaths, they need to be angled a little bit more towards the back, just so that it's much easier for Raphael to pose with his sides sheathed. So that's like my only main two complaints. In terms of paint, it's JoyToy and good old JoyToy fashion. It's everything feels hand painted. The washes are super nice, super adds depth to the muscles of the figure. Articulation is one thing that I think you get gets lost with this kind of scale, but you don't really see that. I mean, besides the shoulder joint, maybe they should have added a little bit of a ball joint to kind of to replace the butterfly joint. But even then, I mean, it still feels great. It still feels good in the hand. And yeah, I mean, joints feel great. So this will be a great Christmas gift if anyone is into the Turtles. And like I said before, it's a mix of 2003 with a little bit of Michael Bay and maybe a little bit of the 2010, 2011 show, if not movie. Yeah, I mean, there's just a little bit of mix of everything that I think everyone can enjoy. And yeah, I don't want to talk for too long because I don't want to take anyone else's time as much as I did already, and especially the last video. I can't just stop talking. Alrighty, so next video will finally be Michelangelo. So if you're a huge Michelangelo fan, be ready because the next video will be that. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next